don't wait for no one.
It ain't no stopping when I'm reaching for the top, and I know it ain't no looking back, I'm only looking forward. My goals and my goals don't define who you know, and I'm fine, I'll be fine, I just want you to know. It ain't no stopping when I'm reaching for the top, and I know it ain't no looking back, I'm only looking forward. My goals and my goals don't define who you know, and I'm fine, I'll be fine, I just want you to know.
Hello and welcome to the Abilities Zone. What's up? It's me, Paul Amadeus Lane. So delighted to have you on this episode. Why? We're going to catch up with one of our exhibitors who exhibited at our Scottsdale show. And his booth dealt with something you never really see at the Abilities Expo. It has to deal with financial planning. So we're going to have him on shortly. But before we do, if you'd like to know what's going on with the Abilities Expo, always go to abilities.com. You can find out what expos are in your area or any other expo-related news. And if you'd like to connect with me, you can reach out to me, paulamadeouslane.com, or on all social media, Paul Amadeus Lane, even on LinkedIn. Why? Because I am a businessman, because I'm all about my businessman. So we welcome you who are listening, who are watching to this show in this episode today. Our first guest, and our only guest, I should say, is a person who was injured 5 years ago. After his injury, he saw a need to help us, to help our community, because he became us, part of the disabled community. Let's hear about his story and the services that he offers. I am so delighted to have my next guest with me. Like I talked about in the intro, had the opportunity to meet him at the Abilities Expo in Arizona and had a wonderful conversation with him. Wanted to make sure that all you knew what his organization is doing, why he created it. So let's welcome on Tyrell Smith. Ty, what's going on, buddy?
Oh, just fighting a good fight.
And you are fighting a good fight. You know, I kind of talked about it in the beginning before I brought you on about you creating TW Smith Planning and Investments. And we want to get into that origin story of why it was created in the first place. But before we do, Ty, you are a person with a disability like myself. How did you become one?
That's right. So I'm a C6 quad complete. Although I self-class, that's what they classified me in the hospital. I self-classify myself as a C6, C7 because I do have some function in this hand, which I don't think a lot of C6s have. So I'm
like me.
very grateful for that. Yeah,
definitely.
But this was 2020, so this was during COVID year. We, me and my two oldest boys and a buddy of mine from Michigan, we decided to take a trip out to Moab and go on a dirt bike trip over there. And I've been begging someone to come with me for a while. Actually, at the time when I used to live in Colorado, and we'd go every year with our buddies over there. And so this was the first year my oldest boys were actually going to be old enough to go with me, and I was really excited about that. And so we made the trip. We drove. It was like 24 hours. We drove straight, man. We drove straight through the night. Like, couldn't take too much time off of work, right? So we just loaded up all the bikes in the back of the truck. We drove straight through the night. Got there the next day and had a wonderful day. I think we slept before we went riding. So we slept, and then that next day we had a wonderful day, just riding through the sand. And I don't know if you've ever been to Moab, Paul, but it's just beautiful. Sandstone and all that stuff is just beautiful. So, but that evening we decided to go on a night ride, and I ride a motocross bike. It was a CRF 450R, and no headlight, right? So my buddy's like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I've got this headlight that'll mount on your helmet and it'll be good to go." And so we got that going, and we left about dusk. And then as the ride progressed, it got darker and darker. I started to realize that light on that helmet was not very good. It was insufficient, I guess you could say. So, I recognized that. And we ended up getting lost, and we were out there way later than what we planned on being out there. But towards the end of the ride, we finally found our way home. And on the way back to camp, there's this huge sand wash. It's like probably 100 yards across. And it's a good, probably a good mile or 2 miles back to camp on that sand wash. And there's nothing in it but sand. That's just sand, right? And so when we hit that sand wash, everyone's relieved. We're like, okay, we know where we're going from here. So everyone just takes off. And I was at the back of the group because I was one of the more experienced riders. I was just making sure everybody was okay and making it home. And as we started heading out, as soon as I started heading down that wash, I can still just vividly remember it in my brain right now. Just that boom, I hit something, and it bucked me from the bike, something I didn't see, and it bucked me from the bike. And I, as my surgeon says, he kind of explained what he thought happened, but he said I lawn darted the ground at about 40 miles an hour, and that was it. That was it. So they, unfortunately, because I was the last of the group, no one saw me go down. And so I had to lay there in the desert, in the dark by myself for a while there before they found me. So I was there for about an hour, but they came back, found me, life flighted me to Grand Junction, Colorado at St. Mary's there, and cut me open and pulled me apart and put me all back together. And 5 years later, it'll be October actually 15th. I'm coming up on just 5 or 6 more days till my anniversary, October 15th, when it was 2020.
Well, it's how we call it, the break your neck anniversary. That's what we call it in our disability. And mine is January 21st. It was
January
1993.
21st.
1993 when I had mine. And Ty, that had to be just something you had to grapple with, your new normal, then pandemic. So you had pretty unique circumstances with your injury. How were you able to kind of keep it together? I know you had probably ups and downs like all of us do. What were some of the things that kind of helped you to kind of deal with it during that time?
Well, you mentioned the pandemic, and the pandemic actually made it really, really tough because I was by myself. They wouldn't let anybody in to come and visit, So, gratefully, there were some nurses at St. Mary Corwin that were just, they're just angels. They, I feel like it was like a 007 mission. Like they snuck me, I kid you not. So I guess let me explain a little bit. So we lived in Michigan, right? My wife was visiting my sister in Washington when this happened, right? And then broke my neck, and I'm over here